Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 Manager 24, episode number 12. We've got another driver development update, and it's just crazy to see, after that first season, what we're getting now in terms of development. We did that one or two driver development boost facility upgrades, but otherwise, this is just drivers that have high potential. So Winter gets a +1 to smoothness, 2 to adaptability, which of course is the last one you want to be getting, but you know, we're balanced. It's okay. Accuracy +1. And then Otakoven just going crazy. Absolutely going wild here. Cornering +1. +1 to control, +1 to smoothness, +2 to adaptability, +1 to reactions. Everything in 80 plus now. And I think we are going to have a world-class driver on our hands here pretty dang soon. If we can give her a world-class car, we might have a champion. Hanging on to her is going to be difficult. We're going to have to probably negotiate contracts early and often with her and really, really lay down as much as we can some hefty groundwork so other teams don't come along and poach her away from us. Meanwhile, we have agreed to terms for our first driver affiliate, Joyce Jacobson, a 64 overall right now. When it comes to affiliates, you can have up to 10. Two of them each have, they have 2 years left on their deal. We have zero interest in hanging on to them long term, though, as they do not fit the mold of what we are looking for our team for the challenge. So Jacobson is our first actual affiliate, and we will obviously want to grow and expand from there in time. Not worried about that in the short term. What I am worried about in the short term is we do have some staff with some expiring contracts, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, all three of them. Beginning with Mercado. Mercado, we need to get re-signed. It's 1st of July. So they all had the whole, we just signed a contract. We don't want to sign another contract yet. That is finally done. It's finally wiped clean, and we're able to now get into contract negotiations with them. And we definitely want to begin with the one that somebody might actually be interested in poaching as a decent sporting director. 81 overall is not great, but you know, it's good enough for other teams to maybe swoop in. So first offer would actually save us money. We're looking at 500,000 less. A breakout multiplier that's going from 0.5, breakout being like cost for somebody else to break your contract, ultimately making so like 0.5, right? It increases the multiplier of what somebody else would have to do to break that contract. So that is what that's all about. Lump sum bonus, 200K. Okay, fine. There's 200K involved, but 4 years starting at next season, so we don't have to pay to break the contract early. As Otakoven is improving rapidly, and as the car is inching its way into a competitive state, the results have been coming for Otakoven. A lot of 16s, 17s, 15s, fairly consistently. I'm getting tempted to aim for the highest reward. It's an extra 110K. If it was 1 spot higher up the grid, I would do it in an instant. As it's 2 spots higher up the grid, right now I'm going to stick with 20th, but I'm also going to keep a close eye on Otakoven's results. And if she succeeds on the next few in a row, I think I might just go for it. Live races are going to become more frequent, but that doesn't mean they're going to be every race. Our pacing would slow down drastically if we do that. So I would, at least at this moment, this little fraction of the universe that we're in, I'm thinking probably quick sim 3 and then go race 1. And that being an episode for the moment. We're at the back of the grid. It's not making much of a difference whether we are doing the race live or not. In fact, in the last one, I probably made that bad decision in the call on which tires to go to, but of course that was what they were suggesting to me anyway, so it looks like the AI would have made the same decision I did and probably done worse with it. Anyway, Verstappen again takes the win. That's 11 from 12, I think, so far this season. Total domination there. Ricardo in the RB getting up to 7th. Albon in the Williams getting 10th, which means there's at least 2 absent, a Mercedes and an Aston Martin from the top 10. But are they just missing, or are they DNF'd or struggling at the back with some sort of problem? In case of Russell, it's just a little bit off the back. We're not in the top 13, but Vinter gets 14th, Otokoven gets 16th, each a lap down, a full lap ahead of a Sargent. 2 Haas, okay, that's a 10th for the team. That, of course, being the big key, because we get 14th place, at least we beat one team. But it's amazing how difficult it is for us to get ahead and get a 9th place, right? Because here we are again. Sauber's the real target for this. Kick Sauber, and there's Zhou Guan Yu, well at the back, way behind us, a lap down, and then we're still just behind Bottas. By the way, in the Drivers' Championship, we are not last. Zhou Guan Yu is last, so we've managed to get both Otokoven and Vinter to finish above Zhou Guan Yu, his best finish of the year. When you've never scored points, for anyone not too familiar with scoring structure in F1, obviously points themselves matter. You only get points for top 10 and fastest lap, but you only get a fastest lap point if you finished in the top 10. So you have to be scoring regular points to get that bonus point. For outside, from 11th on down, you are simply ranked by your finishing position. To break up the ties of all these drivers with no points, or drivers with same number of points, your best finish is your official placing. So if you've finished 11th, you're going to be placed ahead of somebody whose best finish is 15th. If you finished 13th, you're going to be slotted in between. Now, if 2 cars have finished 14th, their next best finish becomes the next tiebreak. So if they've each finished 14th twice, and one of them has finished 15th, but the other one has only finished 16th or better for their next best finish, then that 15th. So on down that line is that tiebreak. So we are ahead of Zhou Guan Yu, who's an 80 overall, so we're actually ahead in driver rating as well. We're ahead of Logan Sargent, and I think more and more frequently, as the car gets more competitive, we should be ahead of Logan Sargent as well. But Bottas is an 85, so he's a little bit harder of a catch. Magnussen's a 79, but Haas seems to have a decent car. Hulkenberg's an 81. But there again, in lies the, hey, if we can get our car anywhere near competitive with them, with their ratings, they become a little bit easier to catch. Alpine, they've scored some points. Williams have scored some points. Part of that being down to you've got some good drivers. Our car is not quite up to the level it needs to be yet, but we are getting closer, and each upgrade draws us in. And once we do get to the point where we are nearing points, I think that's when we can start slowing things down and doing every other race or every race or 1 in 3. I don't know. We'll see. Take it by feel. But even though from race to race we've managed to get ahead of Haas or Kick Sauber, we're still last in the constructors right now, and that could be an issue at the end of the season. But if we get enough results consistently at about 10th, we won't be in jeopardy this season. It's when you're last, when they want you 9th, and you're last race by race by race, that you're going to have problems. That's where they get really upset. If the overall race performance is 10th, 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 and you finish the season at last, they're way more forgiving. We've not scored anything in DHL fastest pit stop for a while. We are still sitting on 46 points, but again, that's more than we had in that inaugural season in that first run through. So hey, I'll take it. Did drop down to 9th, actually on the same points as Aston Martin. Kick Sauber just behind us, way ahead of Haas. But again, we have done better. We have been more consistent. We do have that better sporting director. We did have a problem in putting the new tires on for Otokoven, which slowed her race down a little bit, and might have something to do with why she was behind her teammate. Probably not, though. I mean, those 3 seconds may have led to a position, maybe 2, but certainly not a significant difference. Odekoven might be developing faster, but Winter is not developing slow, and she is now an 82 overall as well. Just like in the initial series, this was voted down, but we're going to have another go at it here for Season 1 of Round 2. Gearbox limit and ERS limit increase. I'm in favor of that. Well, one driver will be removed from the pool of our potential hires here before long. Jess Hawkins, real life Aston Martin affiliate driver, and she's 29 now, at least in game, 28 in real life. So just old enough that to determine that she's not going to make it. So I suppose that is her reasoning there, and she is going to be retiring. So one less driver in the pool, but she was far enough down the list that I don't think and especially as already the affiliate driver, you'd have to break that contract to bring them in anyway, was likely to never make our affiliate list. All right, the vote to change things has strongly gone against, with just 4 teams in favor, so no change for next year. Jess Mercado, First Go, has accepted the contract, so we're going to save $500,000 per year, and we already have the existing contract. It starts next year on a 4-year contract, so essentially we are now on a 5-year deal for her. Love that. That's good. We literally just saved money and extended the deal long term, and drastically increase the chance of others not coming in and taking her away from us. So fantastic deal. That's one staff member taken care of. We'll jump into the next one after Budapest. We have new side pods, and suddenly the rank of the car has gone up a little bit. I'm not going to take this one live, but I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to the 18th for Odekoven, not for Winter. We'll see if that pays off. 13 rounds in, we're into that second half of the season. Verstappen wins again, already 12th. He's already going to win at least half the races for this season, so he'll have the majority almost certainly. All it takes is one more driver besides Perez to claim the next victory. We have Albon again in the points, picking up 4 today. Sonoda getting points for the first time this season, I believe. 2 for him. So you're seeing them feature up higher a little bit more frequently. Now, I did put some new components. Winter, all new for the engine. Odekoven, new gearbox, still a good engine, and ERS. And with the new side pod on each car, it seems to have made a difference. 13th for Odekoven. I think that matches our best finish, or might be our best finish by 1 position. I don't remember if our best had been 14th previously, but it's definitely not been higher than 13th. Not far from the points. 2 laps down. Hamilton was 2 laps down. So, yeah, but a second a lap slower, at least for the best lap compared to Hamilton. Definitely not on his pace. We didn't beat Haas because there's Hulkenberg in 11th. We didn't beat Alpine. It's going to be hard to say who we even beat. We beat Russell. Wow, okay. And Stroll. We do beat Kick-Sauber. We beat 1 team. We get 13th, and we still only beat 1 team. Seen a lot of that. Magnussen and Choke on you, both DNFing. 4 laps down for Sargent and Gasly. Ricardo was 18th, way down the order from where he should have been. Probably had some sort of damage that he was carrying. I wouldn't be surprised if Gasly did as well, along with the 2 cars that were out. Definitely helped bring us up the order. It's not that we were fast, because, hey, we were 2 laps down. I think it had a little more to do. Oh, I mean, come on. Yuki Tsunoda was 2 laps down in 9th place. It was pretty competitive, but not necessarily towards those 2. I think we were probably much closer to being 3 laps down, where they were barely 2 laps down. There was a lot of cars on that lap, though. I mean, nearly half the field. And Odekoven was very much in the middle of that group, so maybe only half a lap behind. And we did beat Russell, so yeah, we are clearly headed the right direction. That moved Odekoven up a spot in the championship, so yes, that does confirm that is our best finish of the season. The only way that we are overtaking Sargent there without any points is, well, twofold, right? Either that just matched our best finish of being a 13th, and Sargent had done it once and had done it first or had a 14th where we had whatever tiebreak, and Otokoven added a 13th, which exceeded the number of times that Sargent had done it. So that is possible, but it, at the very least, matched, if not exceeded, our best result of the year. And that did bring our team rating up a little bit, right? Still on the 0 points. That becomes the constructor's best finish. It works in the exact same manner as the driver's one does, but Bottas clearly has done more than Zhou Guan Yu, has consistently been near points all season long. We've seen many 13th places from Bottas or 12th places from Bottas, just not anything better than 11th. Haas, though, we just saw 11th in this very race. So it's going to take points to beat Haas. Kick-Sauber, maybe at 11th, could get us above them. I know they've finished 12th. They didn't get it in this race. It was only 16th. But I know I've seen Bottas in that 12th to 13th range numerous times. Again, a mistake for Otokoven, who took 3 pits in this race. Just really went out and attacked. New tires on yet again. Same pit stop mistake. This time a stuck wheel nut. But we do get that bonus payout, $780,000. That definitely helps pay for those components that we do have to replace from time to time. And just one race after Winter moves up, Otokoven is now an 83 overall. Things are going really well in this playthrough at the moment, gotta say. But mid-season board review, this is going to be their first knock on us going, hey, you're only 11th. What the heck? That's going to make them not too happy. Board confidence drops to low. The car development side is definitely headed in the right direction, though. We are not dead last anymore, but we are still back at the grid. Top speed is now 18th, acceleration 18th, DRS effectiveness is 14th, low speed 18th, medium speed 15th, high speed 13th from last. Dirty air tolerance is 18th. Tire preservation is 14th. Engine cooling is still last. We are still the last 2 on the grid for that. But the total extra weight, we've jumped to second. We've really cut down on the extra weight, and that's with 0 suspension upgrades. And that is one of the primary ways that we've just made improvements to the car. We just cut the weight, made it lighter, which made it faster, made everything more effective. But the attribute values of where we stand, we are a little over a kilometer an hour compared to grid average off. We are 5 thousandths. DRS effectiveness is actually above grid average, even though it's still not in the top 10. But the bottom end, whoever's last, is so far down compared to what you have at the top of the grid that we're actually above the grid average, amazingly. Low speed, still a ways to go. Medium speed, not too far off now. And same with high speed. Both of those are getting fairly close to grid average. Dirty air tolerance has a ways to go yet, still 8%, 7.5% to reach grid average. Tire preservation is just 6% off. The engine cooling is way off. We're 20% off of what everybody else has, but it's at least in a similar place to where our tire preservation is. I'm only going to look at one team only, Kick-Sauber. Maybe we'll look at Haas, because I suppose we are competing with 2 cars and not just one now. But we are almost same speed as Kick-Sauber. We have almost the same acceleration, but it's definitely a little bit slower. We're almost there with DRS effectiveness. We are now ahead of them, a ways ahead of. We're a 10th of a G ahead in low speed cornering. So we're much faster in low speed corners. We are half a tenth in medium speed ahead. We're half a tenth in high speed ahead. Dirty air tolerance is a little bit harder. It's harder for us to follow a car closely than it is for them, but not by much, only 2%. Certainly not what it is like compared to the what was it? The grid average. Tire preservation, that's the one. Look at that. Look at what you have there. They are at 5%, we're at 35%. Engine cooling, though, we are way behind them, so they prolong the life of their engine, and that's, to my knowledge, all that one really matters. But look at the weight we have shed. We go through parts faster, though. All right, we'll look at one more. Here's Haas. Haas, faster, but not by much. They definitely still have an advantage in acceleration, but not a huge one. Their DRS is terrible. We follow a car better. stay behind a car better. Our dirty air tolerance is significantly better. So we really do follow a car better. They are best in clean air. We're a tenth and a half ahead in low speed. We're over a tenth ahead in medium speed. We are the better part of a tenth ahead in high speed. We are 8% better in tire preservation. We're way behind in engine cooling. We do have the better car compared to Haas. No wonder we are starting to beat Haas on a consistent basis. They had a pace gap over us. They were better cornering. And now we're significantly better. And we've got the drivers that are better as well. So I have a feeling that we are going to start beating Haas on a pretty consistent basis. We certainly have the last 2 to 3 races beaten them. I think we might beat them throughout the season now. Kick Sauber might actually be... right now, I think we've got a good chance of getting up to that ninth. We're going to have to score a point. We have got to score a point. We're going to have to continue to develop the car a little bit further. And Oedekoven, the more likely of the pair, but not that much better than Vinter. So Vinter certainly could make it happen. But right now, the path forward seems very clear. Get 10th once. And I have a feeling we're going to finish 9th in the constructors. We've got Haas and Kick Sauber covered. We've got the car, we've got the drivers, other than Bottas, comparatively. I think we're well on our way to getting the finish we need to have this season, which is phenomenal. 17 million. Also, we could almost just about think about another facility upgrade of some sort at this point. I was saying at least for the first half of the season we were done. I wanted to see where we're at. Well, we still have 2 more drivers. Two more staff to get rehired, and there are going to be bonuses involved, but I would imagine they're not huge, maybe $1 million, and we're covering things off pretty well. We're manufacturing just fine. We're keeping up with everything, and we're getting the car development. Things are going quite well, and I do think we could probably manage to get at least one facility upgrade for 2 million, 3 million on the go. The next best, after we've already taken care of Mercado, is Tersu. So we'll work on getting Tersu re-signed. Just making just shy of 2 billion. By the way, not that we're going to have an agreement here. It could take a while, but I mean, look at what we're doing. Our renegotiation is we're talking about maybe 1 million, and there's a pretty good chance of getting this accepted. But 1 million with a huge breakout multiplier, a relatively small sign-on bonus for a contract that was nearly 2 million. Right, we're 900,000 less. We're going to save nearly $1 million. We saved $500,000 on the other one, so we're cutting down salaries by roughly $1.5 million and signing them up for many years with big to-break deals. This is going really well. And you know what? Let's not delay things any further. Watanabe, let's get her signed on as well. Only 1.2 for her. Our first contract offer going to her is going to save us $300,000. The hospitality area comes with a huge team marketability upgrade bonus from 20 to 40. That's massive. It's 1.8 million. Let's go ahead and get that on the go. Priority for now, for this year, is still going to be about the operations side, about the finances. I'm not going to jump into the car development side yet. We will get there. We will get there in time. We're finding a way to be competitive anyway, right? It looks like we're headed towards 9th place. Fingers crossed, right? I think we're headed towards ninth place as things are going. The operations has more long-term health and wellness benefit than the car development side. Obviously, the car development side is going to be important, but it's very costly. So there's more to clean up in here. You can still have the boardroom one to get into, but we're at 15.4. We'll take that for the moment. I just had an underfloor design completed, and remember the suspension with our setup, we have no way to improve it. So bit by bit, little bit by little bit, I'm eking out performance gains in the suspension anyway through research. Everything else is getting the here and now upgrades. The suspension is all about next year. We're not putting hours into it. I'm out of hours, but we've got 38 days till the next period. So we're going to eke out a little more performance out of the suspension. And with a second one now, right, the 5% drop off, 2.2 and 2.2, 4.4. We've nearly covered off the loss of the suspension we'll have. And one more from here will make it better than what it was.
Well, it's great to have you with us, folks, as we settle in for the weekend's Grand Prix action. There's a chance for Esteban Ocon to show what he can do here.
I don't think there'll be many expecting them to mount a challenge from P19, but I wouldn't discount their chances.
And it'll be exciting to see just what will happen here today. You can hear the excitement in the crowd here at the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
I was realizing that I was definitely running out of time and wanted to make sure that I get a race in. Winter qualifies 16th, Oudekouwen qualifies 18th in this one. Winter on mediums to start with a medium soft strategy, while Oudekouwen's going to do the opposite with soft medium strategy. Each of them set to push along those mediums to try to keep up pace. See 4 drivers already beginning with worn engines and with minor faults on them. A lot of sparks flying here on this opening lap. Oudekouwen did lose 1 space, 1 position off the start, but otherwise we are looking good. Show already at the back. We are ahead of both Alpines for the time being, and Hulkenberg in the Haas way up there at 12th. Bottas, who would put us ahead of 2 teams, is right there in 15th, just ahead of us. So definite opportunity today. It is expected to be a dry one. I'm going to take this one fairly quickly. I've already gone on actually quite long with this episode without even getting into a race. So this race is going to be on the quicker side. But it's good to get out and get in the car and see what we can do, right? No underfueling today. It's a very long lap, and it's a very short number of laps. So you really don't want to underfuel by much. It's hard to get that fuel back here when you underfuel. Each hanging on to their 16th and 19th. I think sometime after this straightaway we are going to be looking at probably starting that process of backing off just a bit. Got a yellow flag. Somebody going down the order. It's Hamilton. Hamilton rejoins ahead of us, though. There he is. Just ahead of Bottas. Bottas had a look, but Hamilton back up to base. Right. In the case of Oudekouwen, we want to prolong the stint, so we're going to start to back off a little bit. We're a little bit down behind the order anyway. Winter currently challenging Bottas. DRS already available. Blocking, big time blocking, and moving under braking for Bottas there. Oh, we're going to get up the inside though, and complete the overtake. Nice. Okay, back to neutral. But it's 2.8 seconds to Albon ahead of us, so big old gap there, and it could, with DRS, open things right back up, especially while we are on the medium. Speaking of, Leclerc, Ricardo, Winter, and Zhou, the only ones on the mediums. Everybody else on the softs. Anybody on used softs? Not from the looks of it. Bottas gets around down the straight. Winter down to 16th, and actually lost a lot of time there. Got squeezed by a second car. So by the time that got sorted out, Bottas was, I think, more than a second up the road. So Winter's going to have some work to do to get back up there. Oudekouwen does get around Magnussen and gets in a clean air immediately. Got a second and a half ahead of Magnussen on that lap. Quickly dropping down, 17th. Oudekouwen's going to be coming up pretty quickly on Winter. So Winter not faring well at the moment. So our engine wear is pretty bad, and that's because our engine cooling is very poor. Long term, that is something we absolutely need to work on. It is going to cost us money. Winter gets back around Otokoven as they slingshot with the DRS. Softs starting to fade. Softs are starting to fade. Winter is starting to come back at the drivers now that the softs are out of their happy zone. Let's attack. Oh, we've already got cars coming out of the pits and blocking us off. Well, that sucks. Not up to pace. And putting a big... That's Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg pits and comes out ahead of us. Jeez. That's rough. And we backed off so much in the Hulkenberg cutting across us that we couldn't get the momentum through Eau Rouge to continue on through Radion and be able to complete an overtake that was set up perfectly. I mean, we were perfectly positioned to overtake Ocon there, and we do the polar opposite. Things have gone really well for the series. Things are not going terribly well at the moment, though, in this race. On the softs, though. 2.946. Terribly slow stop. We are up to temperature, running normal. Nobody pits this lap, so the chances of an undercut are actually greater. Actually, not many cars are left. Otokoven is the last one in the back end of the grid to enter pit, so we've definitely gone long here. Alonso, Piastri, Leclerc have yet to pit. Otokoven down pit road. .94. Pit crew having a really rough go. We are ahead of Magnussen at least, and Zhou. Winter. Otokoven runs. There was nothing there. I didn't see anything.
Right, let's have a look as we go into turn 4. And they just can't keep on the track. But all being well and fingers crossed, no lasting damage to the car.
No, just more time loss. Just more time loss is all. That's mediums for Magnussen, and that pit stop happened a while. We're 14 seconds behind Winter. Now, a few seconds of that was the mistake, but we were 3 seconds behind Winter. So that's about 8 seconds lost in about one lap. Pitting here makes a really big difference, but being on softs, you can see brand new softs immediately puts us up beside Magnussen, but not into a position to overtake. We'll have DRS. I don't really want to overtake just yet. Wait. There you go. Alright, now we'll do it. This should be a very easy one to complete. Oh, come on. Let's go around. I hate how they do that. So it's the same thing that cuts across and you completely get out of it, right? Instead of switching back the other way. You're only allowed to make one move. You just go the opposite direction. They block you to the outside, you go to the inside. You have an extreme pace advantage that they immediately just give up a third of the way down the straight. There we go. Through the final chicane and ahead. Okay, so let's get that 3D lay of the land. For one, here comes trouble. Here comes trouble. These three are not that far from getting lapped. And this is not like other tracks, right? We're getting lapped as a frequency and you just deal with it. Norris, Piastri, Russell, there's Hamilton. There's the end of the points with Ricardo. Stroll just behind him and Alonso. So the Aston Martin's chasing right now. Hulkenberg now dropping further down from where he was. He was 11th and he was 12th, now 13th. Albon's 14th. Gasly, Bottas. That was where we were battling. We were 15th for a long time. Now Winter is behind all of that at 19th after running those mediums and losing that ground. But now on the softs to the end, how many of them are on mediums? Ocon and Bottas are. Albon's gearbox fault has gotten worse. So there's still a chance to move up the order there. But Winter has not made forward progress here. Of late, we've been running pretty standard, though I really haven't been paying attention to that gap. I've been looking more at Otokoven's situation, where she's finally into that clean air and making up ground, and on softs, well, no, not the rest of the way. Otokoven's just had a bad race. Magnussen, Zhou have already been lapped. Otokoven is in that little bit of the trouble zone of blue flags coming. And more cars pitting. Winter's going to come out just ahead of Bottas, chasing Gasly, but still only 15th place right now. I say only as if We haven't been at the back of the grid all season and are only just starting to work our way up, right? We will double stack. That's okay. Healthy enough. Healthy enough gap between the pair. Winter. 2.9. Never fails. Never fails. 2.584. Finally, Oudekhoven comes out ahead of the McLaren. Will instantly get blue flagged. And will down the straight go slow. Yep. Jeez. One stoppers for Leclerc, Piastri, and Alonso, the three that we saw staying out much later than everybody else. Intervals. Yeah, we got ground to cover. Zhou and Magnussen, though, at least Oudekhoven has left those two in the dust, is well ahead of them, but is still 16 seconds behind her teammate and on mediums. Winter. 11 seconds behind Sargent now. So we had caught up to within, 2 seconds? But we pit 3 laps later than Sargent and get undercut massively. We'll hope to come back in the final laps, but it's going to be a difficult task. Lock up from Oudekhoven on turn number 1. Rejoins the track. Second mistake of the day. Oudekhoven runs wide again. Turn 4. Yeah, Oudekhoven's had a just downright terrible day. You're going to crash the car if I keep pushing. You're already 20th. Just ease off. Stop screwing up, please. But even after giving up the blue flag there, we're just 6 seconds behind Sargent. So we've got a chance still to catch, to put pressure on Sargent to get that one position. But that one position is just not going to mean much. The gamble for Oudekhoven going from 20th to 18th is not going to pay off. No payment. I need to go back to the 20th. Play it safe. Just get that steady flow of cash. At 18th does feel a bit much. But Winter now 5.5 seconds down. Ah, crap. On to the final lap. Thought I had 2. Okay, push. Deploy. Attack. On board. Well, okay, fine. The Helicam for a moment. On board. Through one of the most famous corner sequences in all of racing. And we cut it to inside 2 seconds. That's a lot of ground to cover in one lap though, but 1.6. Fuel. Nothing to spare anymore, so we can't push there anymore. 1.5.
Max
Verstappen
over the
takes the
line
victory.
and today's winner.
1.4. Gap 1.3. We pulled back 1.2 seconds in one lap. That's not enough. 19th and 20th. That's going to do it for this episode, though, on Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.